Hi, everybody. Welcome to this session. Thanks very much, Laura. Um, my hands feel amazing. Well, they did until I got very confused with the last exercise, and then I got a bit more tense actually. Um, so this session is going to be on journaling. So I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to grab your journal or your notebook or a piece of paper and a pen, something to write with. So go and get that now if you haven't already got it. I'll give you about 20 seconds before we get going. For those of you who are ready with your notebook or your paper, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you my notebook, which was a present. I'm not sure if it was a joke or not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, just as long as you can write something in it. So just a few more seconds for you to grab your pen and paper or your notebook or your journal. And then we'll get going. Okay, I'm assuming you've got something to write with now, and we'll get going. So my name's Tom. I'm a white male standing dancer with a bushy beard. This session is going to be on journaling, and I'd like to share with you a few kind of techniques or starting places for journaling, and we'll go through them. So I'd like to invite you to do some writing with me. Journaling is a brilliant way to kind of unload your head. So sometimes if I do a workshop or I do a class and there's lots of things I'm thinking about, lots of things that I'm kind of inspired by or want to maybe research a bit more. And sometimes I feel like I can't hold it all in my head. So a journal or a notebook is a great place to write things down. I think it's also a brilliant place where you can start to learn a bit more about how you learn. So you can just, it's a way to understand a bit more about your own process. So so you can learn in a more effective or relaxed way. And you also kind of can reflect and look back at what you were thinking about in the past, which will then inform your process or the way that you learn. Okay, so I would like you to, as a starting place to start to journal, I'd like you to think about, it could be a session that you've done this morning. So it could be the warm-up with Nadan, it could be Amy's curves, tilts and twists session, or it could be Laura's session, or perhaps something that came up in Lucy's introduction this morning. So it could also be a class. You know, you might have done a class on Zoom last week, or you did a workshop, an online workshop. So just think about one instance where you are learning. So a moment to think about that. Just decide, what would you like to journal about? I'm keeping my eye on the time, partly to time you, but partly so I don't rattle on and run out of time. So when you've decided that that one thing, that workshop, or it could be perhaps a creation experience or a choreography or a piece or a dance that you were involved in, I want you to write down what you enjoyed about that experience, that session or that class or workshop. Write down what you enjoyed, what was really interesting for you, what excited you about that session. And I'm going to give you just about 30 seconds. So you don't have to write in proper sentences. It might just be a few words. For some people, it might be a little sketch or a drawing. Just write down something that you enjoyed about that session that you've remembered. So Laura's session, I really enjoyed the massage part. Yeah, so I write that down, just any old way. It doesn't really matter. As long as you can read it, you're not going to be showing it to me or anything. So you can just write however makes sense for you. A few more moments to write what you enjoyed or what you found interesting about that session, that past class or workshop. Okay. Moving on, we're going to with the same experience, we're going to think about what was challenging. So what was difficult? What was difficult about that class or that session? So just a couple of minutes to, you might need to stop and have a think, maybe not write anything for the first few moments, just have a think, what was, maybe close your eyes, what was challenging or difficult about that session? And of course, it's important to not just to concentrate on the things that you really enjoyed, but also to think about what was challenging. You may also, I'm sorry to say, I think as all teachers and facilitators would hope, that none of what you offer is boring, but if it was boring, then just write it down, that's fine. I think I'm not making any comments about the teachers, but if I get bored with something, then I can learn from that. And it doesn't, that might be just because I'm distracted in my mind. It could be just that I maybe didn't have enough sleep or anything like that. So boredom is not necessarily negative at all. So what was challenging about that exercise or that class? Take your time, jot a few things down. Again, maybe small picture, if that makes sense for you. What was challenging about that experience? Or frustrating? Okay, I'm going to move on. I have no idea. I can't see anybody, so I don't know if you're busy scribbling away or not. You might have finished a couple of minutes ago, but hopefully I can move on, and you can always replay this if you want to another go. So the next thing is about learning, but I'm going to divide that into 3 parts. So I want you to write about what you learnt in that class. So it could be a skill or perhaps a new way of thinking about something. For example, in Laura's class, that was a new way for me to think about coordination in the hands. Yeah. So what did you learn in a class that you remember, or a workshop, or a production? What was the skill you learnt, or something new that you learnt? So a couple more moments. You can write as many things down as you like. Okay, the next part part 2 of writing about learning is, what did I learn about myself? So in that situation, in that class or that workshop, what did I learn about myself? Now that could be, you learned that you have, I don't know, that you I knew something about myself that I had forgotten, or that I didn't realize that my hands were so flexible, or that I learned that I really enjoy working with my hands, if I'm thinking about Laura's last session. But just thinking back to that workshop or that class, what did you learn about yourself? So not about the skill, we've done that in the last the last writing, but what did you learn about yourself? Couple more moments. Okay, next up, still about learning, but what did I learn about how I learn? So that's, yeah, maybe that's confusing, but we all have different ways that we learn. So some people are really visual in the way that they learn, or they learn through sounds, remembering, say, someone's voice or what someone said. Lots of different ways to learn, but you might have a style that you learn about when you reflect. So what did I learn about how I learn? It might be also the conditions that you learn best. Oh, actually, I was really relaxed that day, so I think that's how I learn best, is when I'm relaxed. Or I was on a tight deadline and I had to get this class done really quickly, and actually that really worked for me to kind of be really on the ball. So for some people that'd be really different, but just maybe writing down how you think, how you think you learn. That could also be that the class or the workshop that you're thinking about, that was not the best way for you to learn. So you're learning also what conditions you might need in the future to learn better or learn more effectively. So I'll give a few more moments for that. What did you learn about the way that you learn in this class that you remember, or this workshop? And if you've just joined, we're just doing some journaling exercises. We're thinking back to a class or a learning situation. Could be a class or a workshop. Maybe it was something you did this morning, or it might have been something that you did last week on an online class. Could be anything. Just bringing that back into your thinking and doing some reflecting on it. So what in that situation, can you write something down about what you learnt about how you learn? So just a couple more moments for that. Okay. So now I'd like you to just spend a few moments and read back your notes in your book or your page. Just read back all the notes you've written. And it's just a chance to reflect a bit. You might read a bit, have a think, gaze off into the distance, or perhaps close your eyes, just to revisit your experience and how you remember it. So the experience that you had and the what you remember, of course they might be different, but this is just a way to kind of go back in, access that experience. Just reading maybe some of the kind of language that you're using. Is it really positive, or is it really descriptive? Does it paint a certain picture? So reading your reflections back also gives some indication about perspective, what kind of perspective you have when you're thinking about an experience. And sometimes reading it back gives a slightly different perspective. So I might look at my notes and saying, oh, I must have been in a rush that day, or oh, I think I really enjoyed that class. It looks like I've really written lots of things that I enjoyed about it, or that, oh, I must have been quite frustrated. So reading something back gives you a little bit of more perspective. and a moment to reflect on what you've written. Is what you've written helpful? Is it surprising? A few more moments just to think about, reflect, read back what you've written. Okay. And then I'm going to invite you to, the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to draw something. So for some people, drawing is a brilliant way to reflect. So it could be a doodle, it could be, I don't know, drawing an aspect of the class that you did or the workshop that you remember. It could be a feeling, perhaps, I don't know, it could be a feeling in the body that you had when you did this exercise. So that might be really difficult to put into words, but drawing could be a really easy way. And I think even if you're not used to drawing, or you think that you maybe can't draw, I'd have a go at this. Just have a go. This is all about just trying it out. So you might have done loads of journaling before in a very different way. You might have done no journaling at all. And this is all of my suggestions here are just possibilities, just possible ways that you can reflect and start to take notes on your experience. Get better at understanding how you learn something, what you enjoy, what you find challenging. So if drawing is really not your thing, I encourage you just this once at least, just to have a go. Think back to that experience and just start with your pen on your paper, just doodling something. You're not going to show it to anybody, so it could be anything you like. A few moments just to process through moving your pen or your pencil on paper. This might be a great discovery for you. You might think, oh God, that makes so much sense. You might write a few notes and then draw a picture when you journal the next time, or you take notes the next time. Checking the time, just a couple more minutes left. And then as we come to the end, I just want you to think about whether that was helpful for you, what came up, if there were any particular ways that you thought, oh, actually, that's really great to think about my experience in that way. Because sometimes I go and do a workshop or an experience and I might have to travel to get there and everything, or I need to find my Zoom codes and everything, or go on to the next meeting, and then I forget about the whole experience. And sometimes taking a bit of time to journal about something or to write some notes about that experience is a really good way to increase your learning, or to the next time you're in a similar situation, that you can draw on what you've kind of gone over in your notes or your journaling. It'd be great to hear in your comments below what you discovered, any surprises, or you've discovered you've discovered your passion for drawing or doodling. We're going to end there, but I want to encourage you, perhaps in the home practice journey, that taking 2 or 3, 5 minutes after a class, just to write a bit about what you enjoyed, what you found challenging or frustrating, or you just had a bit more difficulty, and then a few notes about how you learn, what you learnt, learning about yourself, and learning about how you learn. And then, of course, you can doodle or draw wherever that's helpful. Okay, so this is me signing off. The next up is Christian, so get ready to get sweaty, I'm sure, with some strength training with Christian. To find the next video, click the button below, the stopgap button below, and that will take you back to the stopgap page, and then you'll get to Christian's video. Or you can, when you're in that back on the stopgap page, you can set a reminder on all of the videos that you'd like to watch, and then you should get a reminder up just before or just as they go live. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and yeah, tune in for the coming days for home practice. I look forward to seeing you there.
I had a problem with Spotify today, buddy, so I just want to check the music with you. I'm just going to play, bud. Let me know how this is. How's it for you, buddy?